Check. French, English channel 1 iko sawa. Ku adjust cable. Check. Hiyo edit ni ile personal hotspot yangu yenye mimi hutumia.
Unajua niliona tukiwa kule zingine. Unasema edit sana nifuata
kwa simu. Good try. English.
But I really commend you for arriving early. Most of you are here before the start time, so that I don't take it for granted. I would want to invite the different representatives who will deliver the opening remarks to the high podium. I will invite my boss, Ambassador Musa Megag, the Director for Health and Social Development from IGAD. I want to invite Mr. Matthew Mantiu, the officer in charge of the Regional Director, UNHCR Regional Bureau in Nairobi. I want to invite Mr. Vittorio Capaccio from EU Brussels. Capici, sorry. I hope I got that right, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong. And then I would also want to invite Monsieur Suleiman Moumin Roble, the Secretary General of the Ministry of Interior of Djibouti. And lastly, I would want to invite Ms. Mercy Mwasaru, the Commissioner for Refugees of the Republic of Kenya. Please join me in the podium. Yeah, IGAD is here. Here. Yes. EU. Perhaps you and CR, you can move one to the side so that we have an empty chair on the end rather than have a gap. So,
Vide à la fin. Encore une fois, je vous invite à cette réunion ministérielle régionale d'évaluation de la plateforme de l'IGAD. C'est un événement de 3 jours, 2 jours de réunion d'experts, et puis le forum ministériel.
for the first 2 days, we'll be hosted in this room for the technical sessions. We'll also have group breakout rooms. You'll be directed when we come to group breakout sessions. And then for the last day during the ministerial session, we'll hold it at Tembo Conference Room, which is just like 100 meters down the road. Not down the road, but within the compound. In terms of the logistics, we have the gents and the ladies on the outside of the conference room. You'll be directed again. My colleagues are at the door. They'll be able to assist you together with the staff from the hotel. And then should you have any issue, my colleagues are around. The tables on the corners and also the IGAD tables, anyone can assist you at any given point. As of now, I would want us to start. I'll invite my boss, Ambassador Musa Megag, to officially open the meeting. Not to officially open, but to deliver the remarks on behalf of the IGAD Executive Secretary. Ambassador Musa, you have the floor.
Thank you, Charles. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming to this important meeting. Good morning, dear Chair of IGAD, Djibouti, Mr. Suleiman Moumin, the Secretary General of the Ministry of Interior of Djibouti, dear representative of the member states with your respective institution. We have governors, we have head of regional council, we have, the commissioner, representative of the Commission of Refugees. All of you, welcome. Dear representative of the EU, in charge of migration, Mr. Vittorio, thank you for coming. It's our key partner. They are, funding, the migration, policy within IGAD. So, colleagues from IGAD, directors, officers, all protocol observed. Good morning again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. On behalf of His Excellency, the Executive Secretary of IGAD, Dr. Warkene Gebeyuhu, I would like to give the remarks at this, launching of our technical expert meeting This meeting is preparing the ministerial meeting on 27, where the ministers of interior of the different member states of IGAD will come here to take this stocktake meeting, the refugees platform protection. So first I wish to welcome all of you to the 2025 ministerial stocktake meeting on the IGAD support platform. I thank you all for sparing your time to join us here today, both in person and virtually, because I think there is also people who's listening us, to discuss, update, and brainstorm on the progress, challenges, and the future directions and priorities of our collective efforts in addressing forced displacement within the IGAD region. Before going, to my remark, I would like to thank the government and the people of Kenya for the hospitality and warm welcome. We want also to address our thanks to the hosting representative of the Commissioner of Kenya. So IGAD support platform has made significant strides in addressing forced displacement across the region. Our collaborative efforts have been instrumental in implementing the Nairobi Action Plan, as well as the subsequent thematic declarations and plans of action, mainly on education, livelihood, and self-reliance and health. We have witnessed an increased number of actors and initiatives for addressing forced displacement in our regions. Forced displacement has also remained a top priority for all our member states. This is a direct result of our collective efforts, and we all should be proud of our efforts. However, despite these commendable efforts, challenges still persist and have intensified over the last 2 years. First, and as you may all know, the number of displacement population in the region continues to rise, mainly as a result of the conflicts, including the war in Sudan, but also as a result of climate change and natural disasters. Currently, the IGAD region hosts over 25 million displaced persons, comprising over 90 million refugees and over 6 million internal displacement populations. The Sudan conflict alone has displaced over 10 million people, both within Sudan and across the neighboring countries. Actors are we have a number of ongoing initiatives both at regional and national level. This poses challenges of coordination. Currently, we do not have a platform or a portal where we can see who does what and where. We also cannot tell how much investment and support in coming into the region to support our member state in addressing forced displacement. We therefore need to improve our mapping of investment and initiative and information sharing, and it's a key objective of the platform. Finally, we have new and emerging priorities such as climate change, mobility needs of displaced population, urbanization and humanitarian development peace nexus. We have also witnessed increased interest from a number of actors to join the core group members of the IGAD support platform. We are happy to admit new members, including City Alliance and UN Habitat, to the core group. We also thank the EU, Sweden, World Bank, Germany, UNHCR, UNDP, and IOM for their continued support and collaboration. As we embark on this stock-taking process, I hope we can come up with clear recommendation and way forward on how we can improve and strengthen our collective response to foresee displacement in the region and ensure that work of the support platform is aligned to the member state priorities and displacement realities. I look forward to discussions. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Director Musa, for highlighting the journey, but also the dynamics within the region. The ever-increasing number of displaced population almost puts to question our collective efforts, but that is not in futility because we have also seen progress in terms of how we address the needs of the displaced population. Although the numbers are going up, also the fact that we are able to meet here and discuss openly, and the fact that the dialogue around refugee issues in the region has remained at the highest political agenda of our leadership is in itself a result. I would now want to invite the officer in charge of the Regional Director of UNHCR, Mr. Matthew Mantiu, to deliver the opening remarks on behalf of the Regional Director UNHCR. I'm told Mamadou is not able to join us, but I'm sure you will be able to represent him. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Charles. The name is actually Martin Mantiao, and it's a Ghanaian dialect. It means when my mom had me, she felt no pain. Chair, distinguished representatives from the IGAD member states, colleagues from UN agencies, civil society, development partners, and technical experts, good morning and welcome to Nairobi. On behalf of UNHCR, and indeed on behalf of the Regional Director who could not join us, I'm very honored to welcome you to this important technical stock-taking meeting. This forum gives us the space to come together, review progress, and assess objectively and practically where we stand in implementing the Global Refugee Forum pledges across the IGAD region. Our purpose today is clear: to translate reporting into actionable insights that guide member states and partners toward meeting their national and regional commitments. Allow me to begin by recognizing IGAD's leadership in responding to forced displacement by adopting important frameworks to strengthen protection, catalyze assistance, and scope for solutions. This region stands out on the continent in terms of comprehensive set of regional refugee frameworks and commitments, like the Nairobi process, the Kampala Declaration on jobs, livelihoods, and self-reliance, the Djibouti Declaration on education, the Mombasa Declaration on improving health initiatives for refugees, returnees, and host communities, and the IGAD support platform that was mentioned so eloquently by the chair. Time and time again, IGAD has demonstrated unwavering political will to promote refugee inclusion, mobility, and durable solutions. This is not only commendable, it is globally significant and should be applauded all across. As we go into the technical discussions, UNHCR recognizes some of the key achievements realized within IGAD and its member states. First, let me talk on the policy and legal frameworks. IGAD has launched the Regional Migration Fund in June 2025 to support inclusive programs for refugees, migrants, and host communities. Ethiopia enacted a new Refugee Status Determination Directive and revised Right to Work Directive, enhancing refugee self-reliance. Kenya enacted the 2024 General Refugee Regulations, aligning national law with international standards. Somalia passed the Federal Refugee Law in March 2024, establishing a comprehensive legal framework for refugee protection. On statelessness, a draft bill to amend the Kenya Citizenship and Immigration Act to ease registration for stateless persons is under consideration, as well as review of the Birth and Death Registration Act initiated to prevent statelessness. South Sudan acceded to the 1954 and 1961 Statelessness Convention in November 2024, thereby fulfilling its GRF pledge. Improved access to documentation has been witnessed in Ethiopia, where refugee inclusion into the digital ID system was launched in March 2024. And these are all very laudable steps in the right direction for refugee protection and the achievement of durable solutions. Enhancing access to services and financial inclusion, while the Refugee Returnee Service of the Ethiopia government continues to facilitate birth registration for refugee children, though a backlog remains. South Sudan adopted the Civil Registration and National Identification Regulation in December 2024, and additionally extended refugee ID validity to 5 years, with renewals possible abroad. So you could actually renew your IDs abroad, overseas. That means that beyond where you first receive the ID. On travel documentation, South Sudan received registration and reviewed legislation to issue machine-readable conventional travel documents and extended validity, and Ethiopia developed directives on the same issuance. Refugees are increasingly being included in national statistics across the region. Again, a very positive development, with their participation in national consensus with their participation in national census in Burundi, Djibouti, Rwanda, and Ethiopia, and integration into national surveys in Ethiopia, Uganda, and soon in Burundi, Djibouti, and Kenya. Ethiopia published a socioeconomic survey of refugees and host governments in May 2024, while Kenya has, for the first time, included refugees in the Kenya Integrated Household Budget Survey 2025-2026 to inform national planning. In Djibouti, refugees were counted in the 2024 census and the 2025 household survey, with data analysis currently underway. Meanwhile, South Sudan has gone further in including refugees, IDPs, and returnees in its 2025 household budget survey, with data collection initiated August 2025. Today's technical stocktake is essential for three key reasons. It enables us to measure progress against GRF pledges. And if Ethiopia would allow me, I would want to say in the 2023 pledges, Ethiopia committed to 6 key pledges, one of which is climate action, where 100 million trees were to be planted. So today gives us the opportunity to assess where Ethiopia is in planting 100 million trees. It's committed to the development of human settlements. It committed to or pledged the inclusion of refugees in services. It committed to partnerships with the private sector and access to 10,000 hectares of land. And of course, digitization of remote locations. So today's session would be a good platform, and I'm only citing Ethiopia. I'm sure a host of other countries in the region have made similar commitments. So the benefit of today and the next few days would be to look at this and say, we are on track, we are not on track, we have to readjust, and that is the importance, the significance of today's exercise. Across the region, there are notable achievements. We've seen greater inclusion of refugees within national systems, whether in education, health, or economic opportunities. Uganda continues to advance its progressive settlement policy and freedom of movement. Kenya's Shirika Plan, launched in March this year, marks a major step towards transitioning from encampment to inclusion. Ethiopia's Mekatet roadmap and the Right to Work proclamation further strengthens access to livelihoods and self-reliance. I also recognize the region's strengthened refugee data systems, including the IGAD Regional Data Sharing Protocol. And we applaud the fulfillment of the GRF pledge on meaningful refugee participation through the launch of the IGAD Refugee Engagement Forum. IGAD and its member states have made remarkable progress in ensuring that refugees, internally displaced people, and stateless persons meaningfully participate in regional dialogue and decision-making processes with due attention to age, gender, and diversity. This momentum must continue. Likewise, advancements being explored under the IGAD Free Movement Protocol hold immense potential to unlock opportunities for cross-border mobility, inclusion, and socio-economic participation. Of course, we must also acknowledge the challenges. Underfinancing of refugee inclusion and host community support persists, and humanitarian funding has diminished sharply. UNHCR has received only 31% of the resources required this year to meet the needs of forcibly displaced people in Eastern Africa. As a result, critical protection, health, and other services, including education, have been reduced or suspended, threatening the progress we have made collectively and worked so hard to achieve. UNHCR has gone from a $5 billion organization as of last year to a $3 billion organization. And as I speak to you, next year, we're even looking at reduced budgets. So the funding situation remains dire, and we are tasked to do the very best with the resources that we've got. In this context, Partnerships with development actors, the World Bank, the FDB, and the private sector are not optional. They are indispensable. We have to go for it. The chair mentioned earlier the humanitarian and development nexus. It is as critical today as it's ever been. With the right policies, especially those ensuring freedom of movement and access to services and livelihoods, they can contribute powerfully to local and national economies. When you walk through the halls of UNHCR offices, you would see on most occasions a poster saying Einstein was once a refugee. That's a very poignant poster. Why do I say that? We all know what Einstein achieved for humanity. And if indeed he was once a refugee, that tells the whole story. Refugees should not be encamped, but allowed to move freely, use their agency, and contribute to the societies and communities within which they are displaced. And I'm glad to say that we see this movement in the IGAD region. The region also continues to grapple with the pressures of climate shocks, economic downturns, and protracted conflicts in Sudan, Somalia, South Sudan, and in neighboring countries such as DRC. Implementation capacity at national and local levels remain overstretched, and gaps in monitoring and harmonized data make pledge tracking more difficult. And that is why today's session is equally important. For all these reasons, stronger coordination is essential. Successful pledge implementation requires joint action across governments, development partners, humanitarian actors, civil society, and private sector who are all gathered here today. We encourage partners to align programs and investments with IGAD's regional priorities, particularly in education, jobs, climate resilience, and mobility. And as we look ahead, let us identify the priority areas where renewed commitments or new pledges can meaningfully improve the lives of the 26 million forcibly displaced and stateless persons in the region. In closing, allow me to reaffirm that IGAD region continues to stand as a global example of solidarity and forward-looking refugee policies. Flagship initiatives in Uganda, Kenya, Ethiopia are setting important precedents in inclusion. South Sudan's freedom of movement and Djibouti's policy promoting inclusion into national programs are all very encouraging refugee management approaches that gives agency to the forcibly displaced persons. Somalia's efforts to adopt strong refugee protection and management frameworks and Sudan's long-standing open-door policy prior to the current conflict continued to embody the region's tradition of hospitality and inclusion. I encourage all participants today to engage in constructive, open, honest, and solutions-oriented review dialogue across the thematic areas, and I am confident that ambitions and objectives. Let me just end by saying we have come a very long way, but more remains to be done. And together with determination and fortitude, we can achieve more on self-reliance, on inclusion in health and educational systems, and durable solutions for refugees, stateless people, IDPs, and their host communities. To this, I say more grease to your elbows, and I thank you most sincerely for the time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Martin. I will not attempt your second name, for I know I will not be able to pronounce it, so we might have our own bilateral to go through that. But really, thank you for providing a comprehensive overview of the ongoing initiatives across the IGAD countries, the progress that we are making as a region, but also the realities that faces our countries, particularly in the current context of declining humanitarian funding, the increasing magnitude of displaced persons, but also the drivers, the intensification of the drivers of displacement. Just to allay your fears, we have an afternoon session where the countries will make presentation on the status of the implementation of the pledges and commitments, both for the Global Compact on refugees, but also on the Nairobi Declaration. So we'll have a moment of reflection to see really whether we are actually making progress or where we are stuck, and what needs to be done for us to move forward. Without further ado, I would want to invite Mr. Vittorio Capici on behalf of the representative of the EU, but also to deliver the remarks on behalf of the core group members of the IGAD support platform. The EU has been a founding member of the IGAD support platform since 2016, when we were in Uganda. Commissioner Douglas can attest to this. And during the birth of the Nairobi Declaration in Nairobi in March 2017, we are happy that you've traveled with us and you continue to support both IGAD but also IGAD member states. And we are glad that you're also able to make time to actually come to Nairobi, all the way from Brussels, and not just yourself, but together with the EU delegation in the room. So I would want to invite you, Vittorio, to deliver the statement on behalf of EU and the core group members. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Charles. I must say, so good morning, everyone. I must say that I prepared for a technical intervention, so this is a bit overwhelming, but I feel really honored to stand amongst you today. So to all the excellencies, the colleagues, the partners in the room, thanks a lot. To the government of Kenya for hosting us, and good morning to everyone. It is a pleasure to be amongst you today with, as Charles mentioned, a very substantive delegation of EU colleagues, and more will come in the next days, with a lot of familiar faces from the donor group and also other partners. And it's really nice to always to come to these meetings. The last one I attended was in Djibouti, and see so many different people giving really life to this platform. And so this is really the convening power of IGAD, which I think is unmatchable, and this is why for us as the EU is quite strategic to invest in this relationship with one of the most, I would say, successful RECs on the continent. Our support indeed is strategic. Charles mentioned the long-standing relationship with IGAD is of course much wider for us, but it's also a testament to, I would say, a really good cooperation with all the members of the donors, of the donor group and the partners. So we want to thank you for that. I'm here to give you a bit of a narrative, zooming in on the EU support in particular, because the last, this current phase of the support started with the trust fund. Here again, between 2021 and 2024, we enhanced and really supported the implementation of the Nairobi process. And we achieved a number of achievements. On durable solutions, together we spearheaded the launch of the Solutions Initiative for displacement situations in South Sudan and Sudan, whereby we focused on recovery, peace building and resilience for displaced people and their hosts. Private sector engagement, especially through the Kampala Declaration, where we really worked on mobilizing private sector enhanced collaboration with financial institutions in refugee areas to support economic inclusion. And then we really worked on the GCR framework, and so really supported the platform to kickstart and help all the member states of IGAD with their commitments. And this, for instance, allowed the inclusion of refugees into national statistics and development planning across the region, at the national, local level. I see, for instance, the mayor of Koboko here, and you know, so in Uganda, who spearheaded the work of secondary cities in this endeavor, and really speaks to the localization, you know, potential that this platform has. So we went from this EUTF support to our new instrument, which is called Global Europe. And between 2023 and it will last until 2026, we decided to focus on one specific aspect, which was the South Sudan Solutions Initiative. So we worked on the operationalization of the provisions related to the solutions for displaced persons contained in the Juba Peace Agreement. And we supported, for instance, under the broader Durable Solutions umbrella, the fourth IGAD Scientific Conference in Addis Ababa on urbanization, which indeed sort of stresses the importance of cities as responders to forced displacement crisis all across the region. We funded, and we are really proud of that, the regional scholarship scheme that facilitated access and skills for 85 refugee students on priority areas such as digitalization, AI adoption, and policy drafting. And lastly, speaking about urbanization, we contributed to establishing an IGAD-wide network of local authorities as really catalysts for social and economic inclusion and integration. And this is quite brilliant because along the way, basically, I would say that our role was to always try to bring new actors to this platform, to keep it alive. You know, the European Union supports a number of platforms worldwide. In Africa, we support two, so this one and the one in Central African Republic. But you can really see a difference thanks to the IGAD role and involvement, because together with you colleagues, we can really sit down, talk about priorities. We have other important initiatives such as the Horn of Africa initiative. We work with the banks. So we continue to see really the strategic potential in investing all of that. But as all love stories, it's not all about the romance. I mean, there are also issues and challenges that we would like to work on. We, you know, as I told you, as we plan a next tranche of the support, we would like to see more coordination, more technical meetings. The ambassador was mentioning the fact that it is a challenge not to be able to fully understand and map what everybody is doing. And this is an untapped source of again, potential, because we could do much more than what we do now. We would like to see more technical meetings happening. We would like to see more physical field visits. And so this is one of the areas that we would like to see improvements on. I want to really take a chance and thank Charles and the whole Secretariat team, because I think you're doing a marvelous job, which is not easy. We all know the constraints of the Secretariat. And so I think we really need to work on strengthening the team, We are talking about technical assistance maybe or something, but this is a plea also to you as member states of IGAD to really bet on the platform, because I think we're on the verge of expanding, of having new members coming in, and so it's really an opportunity. And we hope this is our work on our side as the European Union to really do more to bring in more of our member states to the platform. Through the current program, we are working already on some of these issues, and we have witnessed several improvements. But we have learned that focusing only on one regional crisis, the South Sudan, despite proving important, has kind of a bit hampered and slowed down the progress in terms of this strategic vision that we aim to kind of work on together with you for the platform. And don't get me wrong, I mean, important achievements have been reached. Our head of cooperation to the delegation in Kenya will speak about those at the closing, during the closing statement. But, you know, the situation in Sudan and South Sudan is one that makes progress difficult. So what we propose for the next is that we treat, you know, several crises by adopting a region-wide approach. Because, I mean, many of your countries are experiencing the same issues. So we feel like we need to broaden a bit the scope of our support. And you know, when we signed the current contract in 2023, we were still hoping that the international funding to forced displacement would remain a key priority. And the UNHCR colleague here really stressed the importance of paying attention to the fact that ODA serving the forcibly displaced and those communities is going down. And at the same time, I really want to agree with him and further stress the importance of working with the banks and the private sector, which is one of the reasons why we think the platform is strategic. Thanks to the bank, the World Bank being there, but also other partners. So, to conclude and move forward, we will continue supporting in the next 3 years. These include a phase 2 of our operational support to the platform through UNHCR, a fresh new collaboration with UN Habitat, which we feel is very important to really talk about out-of-camp policies, investments, strategic corridors, and more. We want to focus on the climate conflict displacement nexus, as we really see these areas being fully interlinked. And really, we really hope, of course, to maintain the momentum on the Nairobi process and going forward with the next Global Refugee Forum. We really aim to make this platform a policy dialogue of reference for other EU regional programs, and I hope that this will be the case also for the other members of the donor group, because it's a fully functional platform that can grow even more. And by doing all of this, really, we think that the platform can continue working, can continue to deliver, can be really solutions-led, and something that manages to, you know, beyond this very nice room and all our discussions, to have an impact on people, which is the most important thing. So, on behalf of the donor group, we really thank you for your active involvement in the platform. Thank you for hosting us, and we look forward to continuing our discussions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vittorio. First, for reaffirming the EU commitments, not just to IGAD, but to other actors within the region, but also for your continued support across the different initiatives, including the South Sudan situation, the regional scholarship program, and also the new portfolios that are coming in on the Global Gateway, the support on the operationalization through the UNHCR, the Cities Network, which I think is a very new initiative, but also very innovative, the partnership with Cities Alliance through SWEDAC. It's always very amazing to really visit the spaces where refugees are hosted and to see the actual integration. Some of it actually happen in the absence of policies, but through innovation and the political will, particularly of the local leaders. That is why we have also brought in quite a number of mayors from the different member states to kind of share and also exchange experiences and also showcase what they've been doing to the other hierarchy, so that it also shapes the policy discussions within the region. Without further ado, I would want to invite the next speaker, who's the representative of the government of Djibouti on behalf of the IGAD chair. Our speaker is His Excellency Suleiman Momin Roble, the Secretary General of the Ministry of Interior of the government of Djibouti. The remarks will be in French, so this is the time to make use of your translation and interpretation devices. Monsieur SG, vous avez les paroles.
Merci, Monsieur Charles.
SG, you have the floor.
Good morning, everybody. Monsieur l'ambassadeur.
Your Excellency Musa, Director of Health within IGAD, ladies and gentlemen, representatives of member states, dear partners, development partners, and humanitarian actors, representatives of civil society organizations and refugee organizations, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. As the chair of IGAD, it is particularly a pleasure to officially open this meeting, which is a stock-taking meeting for the IGAD support mechanism. I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to the government and the people of Kenya for the warm welcome and for once again making Nairobi at the center of our regional efforts to protect refugees and offer sustainable solutions. Since 2017, our region has demonstrated unique leadership at the continental level and international level in the way in which we have been dealing with the issue of forced displacement under the Nairobi Declaration. We have committed a decisive effort. We have moved from strictly humanitarian response to a general approach that is inclusive and oriented towards development. Today, when we have displacement, conflict, insecurity, economic pressure, climate impact, and these factors are intensifying, and our collective commitment is a pillar of stability, of solidarity, and integration regionally. As IGAD, we have worked incessantly to strengthen the regional policy framework. We have harmonized our practices and we are supporting countries in their efforts. The relaunch of the IGAD framework for refugee protection in 2023 and the establishment of the regional forum for refugees in 2024 bears witness to our determination to consolidate an architecture that is regional, modern, inclusive, and sustainable. This ministerial meeting occupies a strategic place and offers the opportunity to collectively evaluate progress made, to measure the level of accomplishment of our commitments as part of the World Compact on Refugees. We are going to identify persistent gaps and to also reaffirm our political will to go even further. It comes also at a very, very good time, which is marked by a reduction of UNHCR funding. And in this context, we have to examine perspectives, progress for the World Forum on Refugees, and this imposes itself. IGAD member states have already demonstrated their capacity to intervene in a unique manner, integrating refugees in the education system and national health systems, which is also recognizing socio-economic rights, reinforcing humanitarian means for development and peace, and there is new attention given to climate risks. But we also know that the need remains immense. Host communities continue to bear a huge disproportional burden. Climate change is aggravating the situation. The resources which are available are insufficient. That's why we have together to mobilize more partners, more funding, more solutions, local and regional solutions. As IGAD chair, I would like to insist on 3 priorities, policy priorities. Number 1, strengthening of unity and regional coherence, because no sustainable solution is possible if there is no solidarity among states. Secondly, we would like to amplify the participation of refugees in our work. This should continue informing our policies in conformity with the regional forum and commitments for refugees. 3, we have to ensure that climate and resilience are a central pillar of our strategies, because the future of displacement in our region is actually related to climate risks. I am convinced that the technical contribution during this 2-day meeting, as well as through your deliberations, is going to allow us to come up with a ministerial communique which will be ambitious, giving pragmatic solutions and sustainable solutions for our common values. I'd like to thank you, each and every one of you, for your commitment, constant commitment towards the region, and for your determination to place human dignity at the center of our policies. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Monsieur SG, for the comprehensive overview and statements, and also highlighting the 3 priorities of strengthening our regional unity and coherence, enhancing meaningful refugee participation, and joint resource mobilization for the region, which we attempt, but sometimes maybe it is not adequate because of the ever-increasing numbers But we hope we can really rally around this, especially under the leadership of our chair, the government of Djibouti. I would now want to invite our guest of honor, the government of Kenya. The remarks will be delivered by Her Excellency, the Commissioner for Refugees, Commissioner Mercy Mwasaru, in terms of opening this meeting officially and delivering the remarks on behalf of the guest of honor and the government of Kenya. Commissioner Mercy, you have the floor.
Thank you, Charles. The representative of the IGAD chair, Ambassador Musa. EU representative on behalf of the core group members, UNHCR, Regional Director for East Horn of Africa and South Africa, IGAD Executive Secretary representatives, my colleagues in the refugee space, our partners, and civil society, NGO present, good morning. It is my pleasure to warmly welcome you to Nairobi, Kenya, first and foremost, and to this technical experts meeting as we prepare for the upcoming ministerial stock-taking meeting of the IGAD support platform. Your presence here today is a strong demonstration of our collective commitment to advancing durable solutions for displaced populations and strengthening resilience for communities across our region. Over the past years, the IGAD region has made remarkable progress in addressing forced displacement, fostering regional cooperation, and driving innovations in humanitarian development peace initiatives. Yet, as we gather today, we are reminded that the challenges facing our region remain complex, evolving, and deeply interconnected. Conflict, climate shocks, economic instability, and demographic pressures continue to intensify vulnerabilities, particularly for refugees, returnees, internally displaced persons, and the communities that generously host them. This is precisely why the IGAD support platform was established, to convene governments, technical institutions, partners, and stakeholders around a shared vision, a region where displaced populations are protected, empowered, and integrated into sustainable development pathways. Today's meeting marks another important step toward translating that vision into action. Distinguished participants, before proceeding further, I would like to take this opportunity to express my deep appreciation to the IGAD support platform for its tremendous efforts in galvanizing political commitment and advocating for sustainable solutions to forced displacement in our region. The platform has played a pivotal role in mobilizing financial and technical assistance and in ensuring coherent, coordinated humanitarian development responses across the East and Horn of Africa. I equally wish to extend my sincere thanks to IGAD for sustaining the momentum of the Nairobi Declaration and its plan of action. Through the broadening of partnerships, the safeguarding of asylum space, and the support for forward-looking policy initiatives, IGAD continues to strengthen resilience, promote self-reliance, and create opportunities for both refugees and communities that host them. Your leadership, IGAD, has been essential in ensuring that displacement challenges are met with solidarity, responsibility sharing, and durable solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, your role as technical experts in these 2 days is central to shaping this trajectory. In the coming days, we will engage in a careful review of progress, challenges, and emerging opportunities under the support platform. We will assess operational milestones, policy achievements, financing gaps, and results from country-level and regional initiatives. Most importantly, we will help distill these findings into clear, actionable recommendations that will guide our ministers during their upcoming deliberations. Allow me to emphasize 3 critical expectations for the technical experts meeting. 1, matters evidence-based reflection. We need to undertake candid assessment of ourselves. The stock-taking process must clearly illuminate what has worked for us, what has not worked, and the underlying reasons. Only through such honest reflection can we design interventions that are both realistic and genuinely impactful. 2, strengthened coordination and alignment. Forced displacement is a multi-sectoral challenge. Therefore, our response must remain integrated. This meeting will offer a unique platform to enhance coordination among governments, humanitarian actors, development partners, and regional institutions. Let us ensure that our efforts are harmonized with national priorities, the Global Compact on Refugees, and regional frameworks. Thirdly, forward-looking solutions. While immediate needs are undeniable, we must prioritize long-term solutions that promote social cohesion, economic inclusion, and climate resilience. Durable solutions require durable partnerships with communities, government, and with international actors. Distinguished experts, the decisions that will emerge from the ministerial stock-taking meeting depend heavily on the clarity, depth, and consensus we will build in the next 2 days. We are the architects of the technical foundation upon which political commitment is anchored. I urge ourselves to approach the discussions with innovation, openness, and a deep sense of responsibility through the millions of lives affected by displacement in our region. Let this meeting be not only by analysis, but by renewed commitment. That is commitment to shared responsibility, to regional solidarity, and to the principle that every person, regardless of displacement status, has the right to dignity, opportunity, and hope. Ladies and gentlemen, as I officially open this technical experts meeting, I look forward to fruitful deliberations and successful outcomes. May our discussions lay the groundwork for an impactful ministerial meeting and for stronger collective action under the IGAD support platform. Thank you, and the session stands officially open.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Maswaru, for opening the meeting. We have now come to the end of the first session, the opening session of the meeting. I would briefly take you through the adoption of the agenda and objectives of the meeting, and then we'll proceed to the health break and the group photo. I have a few slides, not more than 3. For those who are not familiar, but I want to assume that we are all familiar. I know we are all talking about the IGAD support platform, but for some, this may be the first interaction with the support platform in itself. The support platform for IGAD region, the issues started around 2016, but it was officially launched during the first Global Refugee Forum in December 2019. We've had several objectives that are pursued. We are largely led by member states because we are a member state organization, and it was largely to promote the regional approach in addressing durable solution and forced displacement. Our 4 main objectives is around sustaining momentum on the Nairobi process and the Nairobi Declaration that was adopted in Nairobi in March 2017. The Nairobi Declaration in itself initially dealt only or mainly with the Somali refugee caseload as the most protected caseload in the region. But in 2018, it was expanded to cover all refugees within the IGAD territory because we were seen to be discriminatory. We needed to open up the space. And that's how we opened up, and now most of our declaration, if not all, cover all population of concern who are hosted within the IGAD region. So if you are a refugee from a non-IGAD member state but hosted within the IGAD member state, the declaration gives you equal treatment. The other thing was to mobilize additional support for our member states, both in terms of finances, political, but also technical. And here we have seen a lot of action and support that has come in, despite the fact that now we are the tables have turned in a way, and we are seeing more declining support for the region despite the increasing number. The other objective of the support platform was to increase the number of actors. There are those that are known to be traditional. The core group members, initially we had 4 core group members. We had EU, Germany, UNHCR, UNDP, and the World Bank. Those were 5. But we've seen additional actors come in, like Sweden, Switzerland was initially there. We've seen the interest from Cities Alliance, UN Habitat, IOM, the other actors who are also engaging with us, the African Development Bank. We have some collaboration with JICA. We also have strong collaboration beyond just the national level, but also with the local level, including the network of cities and local authorities. The main idea was to follow up on the commitment and the pledges that are made and to ensure that there is regular stock taking, and that is what we've kept doing. We've had stock-taking meetings since 2019, and the last one was in 2023. This, in my reflection, I think is either the 4th or the 5th stock-take meeting of the IGAD support platform. In terms of this particular stock-take meeting, we have a number of formats first, but also a number of objectives. Yeah? We have a 2-day experts meeting. And the 2-day experts meeting will take place today and tomorrow, in which most of the objectives will actually be pursued, which is to assess the current dynamics and trends of forced displacement in the IGAD region, to assess the achievement, challenges, gaps, in opportunities in delivering regional and national pledges and commitment on the Global Compact on Refugees, and to take stock of the progress on the implementation of the Nairobi Declaration and the different subsequent thematic declaration, including the Djibouti on education, Kampala on livelihood, Mombasa on health, and also the joint regional pledges on socioeconomic inclusion and comprehensive solution, but also on climate action. And the the 4th and last objective is to revitalize the core group membership and to mobilize additional actors, which we'll see as it's structured in the agenda. There are sessions that are meant to address all these objectives. The meeting itself, like I highlighted, we have the technical segment today and tomorrow, and then we'll have the ministerial forum on the last day on Thursday in the same venue. And this is seen as a preparatory activity for the 2nd Global Refugee Forum Progress Review that will take place in December 2025 in Geneva, to which I am sure both member states all member states are invited, and also IGAD will partake. In terms of the participants, for the technical segments, we have representatives from the Ministry of Interior, mainly the refugee commissions and the CRRF secretariats. In some instances, the refugee commissions are not necessarily in the Ministry of Interior. Case in point is the one in Ethiopia, which reports directly to the Office of the Prime Minister. We are pleased to have the Director General, Madam Taiba, with us. We have representatives from the Ministry of Labor, representatives from the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Environment and/or Climate Change, and IGAD focal points in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We also have mayors and subnational actors. We have mayors across 9 cities within the IGAD region. We have core group members and other donors. We have EU, World Bank, Germany, Sweden. We also have UN agencies and other operational partners in the room. You have UNHCR, UNDP, UN Habitat, IOM, Cities Alliance, JICA, MasterCard Foundation, Samuel Hall, and many others who I may not have mentioned. We also have refugee representatives in the room. You will interact with them from time to time. They'll also be in different sessions of the panel as part of the initiative to promote meaningful refugee participation. We also have civil society and academia. You will see their tables in front of us. On the last day, of course, together as the experts will be joined by the ministers in charge of refugees from the different member states for the last ministerial forum. In terms of the agenda, I'm just going to provide a summary of what is already on the papers, the leaflets in front of you. So we've done the opening remarks. The next session will be on the dynamics and trends of displacement in the IGAD region, which we'll do after the coffee break. That will be followed by a panel on emerging landscape, a plenary on emerging landscape on protection and solutions. Then today's session will end with country presentations on the progress on the implementation of the GCR. That will take us through the rest of the day. Preferably, we might start at around noon or in the after lunch. Tomorrow morning, we'll start with parallel thematic group discussions on key priorities, mainly on education, self-reliance, and health, but also on climate action. Then we'll have a panel session on emerging priorities, including urbanization. This one has changed slightly. We have HDP, but also on the third one was on mobility needs for refugees, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. And then the last session of the technical segment will be on ongoing and emerging support and partnership, just in terms of the ongoing initiatives across the region. We'll have interventions. This will be a plenary session with interventions from different partners who are listed on the page 5 of the agenda. I don't want to go through the list, but we'll have that. And then in the afternoon of the last day, we will go over the draft communique just to agree on the final wording that will be then submitted to the ministers for adoption during the ministerial forum. And then that will be the end of the expert segment. The last day, on the 27th, we will meet in another hall where we'll have the reflections and the statements from the different ministers of Interior, together also with the IGAD Executive Secretary, but also with our operational and donor partners. And that should bring us to the end of the meeting. In terms of the expected outcome is, one, to have the progress report or the status of the progress on the implementation of the GCR pledges and commitments, and the second outcome is the ministerial communique, which will be adopted on the final day. In a nutshell, that is how this meeting is organized. And through the chair, I would want to propose that we adopt the agenda, either as it is or with amendments, if there are any from the floor. The chair, if somebody can pass the mic to the chair. Microphone, please.
Good morning once again. I propose the adoption of the agenda as it was presented. The themes that we are going to tackle today are important, and the contribution of each one of us is highly welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. The agenda is adopted, and we have therefore finished that session. I would therefore want to invite you to a health break and a group photo. We'll start with the group photo and then proceed to health break. Bob guides me that we will take the photo from this direction. So we will all exit from this door, and Bob, together with Ahmed Jama, will guide you on where exactly you're going to take the picture. So please, outside. Thank you so much. Thank you. Madam.